On this episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, Coach Decorah is in the Buck and Honey's remote studios to share powerful takeaways from 2 keynote presentations focused on mental health, leadership, and decision-making, from practical life strategies to using the OODA loop during high-pressure moments like prom. This episode is all about making better choices and leading with purpose. This will be a good one. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up wherever you are, whatever you're doing? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Decorah. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Survive and Thrive 8791. You can follow the podcast and get access to previous episodes on all those platforms at Survive and Thrive 8791, the podcast. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you listen to the show. Leave me a comment if you like what you heard. If there's a topic or a guest who would love to share their story, email me at tdecorah@gmail.com. Glad you could join us. Our mission is to share stories and conversations that make you cry, laugh, and think, stimulating emotions, creating laughter, and inspiring the mind. A new episode will air on Monday and Thursday morning featuring a wide range of guests. The podcast will touch on many subjects such as, but not limited to, grief, loss of a loved one, recovery, professional setback, mental illness, success despite challenges, etc. Our guests will share how they learn to survive and thrive. Website reminder before I introduce our guest, I'd like to highlight our website, surviveandthrive8791.com. You can see what we are doing and the events we are hosting. If you're a business or an advocate for mental health and recovery, we invite you to partner with us through sponsorship opportunities. Please contact us at surviveandthrive8791@gmail.com. Today, I'm dropping in to talk about 2, not 1, but 2 events that I had the opportunity to be the keynote speaker at. The 2 events allowed me to talk about some things that have become very important in my life, and that is making the right choices, because I still work kind of sort of in a school district, and taking care of yourself. That's probably one that is near and dear to my heart. The first event was the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association, or you might hear me say WBCA, the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association Boys and Girls All-State Banquet, held on Sunday, April 12th at the Wilderness Resort Conference and Convention Center in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, the tourism capital of the Midwest, and I sometimes say the tourism capital of the world. That's my hometown. And the second event was a keynote presentation that I gave to the student body at Wisconsin Heights High School, held on Tuesday, April 21st. And Wisconsin Heights High School is located between the small communities of Black Earth and Mazo, Many, Wisconsin. And that's just outside our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. But before I get started, I need to talk about our sponsor, Buck and Honey's Restaurant. Buck and Honey's is a place that people can escape to. For me, it's a great escape from cooking dinner. I am a foodie, so I love cooking dinner. With their great food and drink menu, 5-star customer service, and a welcoming and vibrant atmosphere, people keep coming back, with locations in Sun Prairie, the home office, Monona, Waunakee, and Mount Horeb. Most communities in Dane County, which encompasses the Madison, Wisconsin metropolitan area, can get to a Buck and Honey's within 10 to 15 minutes. So one is always close and nearby. And if you go outside and smell, you can smell some of the great pizza that they have. On today's podcast, it will go something like this. In segment 1, I will talk about the WBCA All-State Banquet that I attended as the keynote speaker, and I will explain how that event went. And in segment 2, I will talk about my presentation to the students, staff, and administration at Wisconsin Heights High School, and I will discuss some of the suggestions for thriving at both events. Segment 1. As most of you know, when I have a gap in between guests, you get yours truly, you get me. I've had several people reach out to me, social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and ask me, when is your next presentation? If they see me in person, where is it, and if they can attend. And I'm humbled that people would want to hear my story and the messages that I share about mental health and recovery. So, retired legendary basketball coach Ken Barrett, La Crosse Central High School, reached out to me a few months ago and asked if I would be the keynote speaker at the WBCA All-State Banquet. And I was honored. What a privilege for me to be able to do that. And 39 years ago, I attended a similar event after our state championship season was over. This year, it was a full circle moment for me. Just utterly honored to be able to do that. So I want to thank Coach Ken Barrett for thinking of me. This year, there were 5 divisions for boys and 5 divisions for girls of all-state players. Each division had 10 players that were selected all-state. In addition, there were 30 boys and girls elite academic all-state award winners. They also honored Miss Basketball and Mr. Basketball and Team Academic All-State. Now, just a little bit of a history lesson. Back in my day, 1987, there were only 4 All-State teams, and each All-State team had 5 players that were voted. There was a first team All-State, second team, third team, and fourth team All-State, and there were 5 players voted for each team. So it was a grand total of 20 players that were voted All-State, kind of an elite group, a small group, 20 total players. There were another 30 players who received honorable mention All-State. They just didn't get enough votes, garner enough votes to get on one of those first 4 teams. Yours truly was on the second team All-State. So I've talked with people about how things used to be. I was then considered myself as one of the top 10 players in the state in 1987. To me, I always wanted to be recognized as one of the best. And I think if you're on a team, competing, or whatever it happens to be, whether it's in the band and the arts or sports in my case, you always want to be considered one of the best. But for me, I didn't really know All-State existed. It was never a goal of mine. I just wanted to be a part of a team that was considered the best, and maybe as an individual be recognized as one of the best. And it was never really a goal of mine to be All-State, but it occurred. Anyway, I wanted to read the speech that I prepared for the All-State Banquet. And to my knowledge, and I found out today that the WBCA didn't record the event, which is okay. I've had several people ask where they could view the recording, and I've volunteered to share the speech with some people. And I decided, well, why don't I record it myself on the podcast? So I thought I would read it to you today. Brought me back, and I wanted to talk a little bit about those All-State teams back then, because kind of a elite crew that there were only 20 All-State people, and now there are 100. Well, there are 50 All-State players in boys and 50 All-State players for the girls. I wanted to, I had some requests from some folks that asked, where can we see or where can we view your speech that you delivered at the All-State Banquet? And I thought I would read this on here, use this platform to read that speech, because the WBCA did not record that event. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. And it was only a 10-minute speech, which was kind of cool because I dropped in. I believe I had grandpa duties in the afternoon, so they allowed me to drop in, had a little meal sat at the head table and had a meal, and got to talk to a couple of coaches and some people that I knew that were also up there. But they gave me 10 minutes. I was introduced by Dennis Semrau, legendary Madison Capital Times sports writer, ESPN Radio. He did a great job of introducing me. And then I had the 10-minute speech to give. So I'm going to go from the top, and I'm going to read this verbatim, the speech I delivered to the parents and All-State honorees. So here goes. Happy Sunday. What is up? Woo! And I started out with the question of the day. And this was for the players. As you reflect on this past season, what is one moment, just one, that made you feel proud to wear your jersey? A moment you will carry with you the rest of your life. And I paused for 15 or 20 seconds and let that question of the day for the players to sink in. And I'm sure there were some kids there that made it to the state tournament, broke school records for scoring, maybe scored 1,000 points, maybe scored 2,000 points, and just had to think about those memories of the season. And then for the parents, coaches, and family members, friends in the room, I asked them, I said, as you think back on this season, what is one moment where you watched these athletes, friends, again, their son or daughter, grandson, granddaughter, player, if they were the coach, players. What is one moment where you watched these athletes and felt overwhelming pride, not just in how they played, but in who they're becoming? And again, I paused for about 15 or 20 seconds and let that sink in for the parents, coaches, family members, and friends. First, I want to thank Coach Ken Barrett for reaching out a couple of months ago. A big thank you to the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association for this incredible honor. My name is Tim Decorah. I graduated from Wisconsin Dells High School back in 1987, and to be honest, I don't even remember if an event like this existed back then, but I'm really glad it does now, because moments like this matter. They give us a chance to slow down and recognize the hard work, dedication, and commitment of some truly outstanding young men and women across our great state. Back in 1987, our team was fortunate enough to win the Class B state championship, the Wisconsin Dells Chiefs. I often wonder, how in the heck did we do that? Because of that team's success, along with amazing family support, great coaching, and a whole lot of time spent on outdoor courts, I was named second team All-State. At that time, there were only 4 All-State teams, 5 players on each. So being recognized meant you were considered one of the top 20 players in the entire state of Wisconsin. What I really like about how things are done today is that there are now 5 teams, one from each division. That means more athletes get the recognition they've earned, and make no mistake, earned is the key word, because nothing about today just happened. To the players in this room, this didn't come from luck. It came from early mornings, late nights, extra reps, sacrifices, discipline, cold nights, snow days, illness, injury, going into school when it was dark and leaving school when it was dark, and showing up when it wasn't always easy. And to the parents, families, friends, and coaches, this is your moment too, because no one gets here alone. You drove them to practices. You sat in the stands. You supported them after tough losses. You celebrated the wins. You believed in them, even when they may have doubted themselves. So today, we celebrate you, all of you. Congratulations on being part of something truly special. Now, many of you are at a turning point. Some of you seniors will be leaving home soon. Some will head off to college and jump right into workouts and new teams. Others will begin a completely different chapter of life. And for those returning next year, you're no longer just players. You're leaders now, with a giant bullseye on your back. Your teams will look to you to set the tone in open gyms, summer leagues, and beyond. And parents, if this is your first time sending a child off into the world, I'll be honest with you, it's not easy. And if you've done it before, you already know. It's still not easy. But you'll get through it. And more importantly, you'll watch them grow into who they were meant to be. As I get ready to wrap up, I want to leave you with 5 simple suggestions to help you survive and thrive in whatever comes next. Number 1, put your mask on first. You've heard this on an airplane before. In case of emergency, put your oxygen mask on before helping others. That's not selfish. That's smart. If you're not taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, you won't be able to show up for your teammates, your family, or anyone else. Self-care isn't optional. It's essential. Number 2, unplug. Step away from the game. Step away from the noise. Give yourself time to reset. We live in a world that's constantly on, but growth happens in the quiet moments too. Rest your mind, recharge your body. You don't always have to be going full speed. Number 3, find your person. Have someone in your life you can trust, someone who you can talk to, someone you can vent to, someone who will tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it. We all carry things, and we don't have to carry them alone. Number 4, movement is medicine. Yes, basketball is a huge part of your life, but it shouldn't be the only thing. Find something else that helps you reset, whether it's lifting, running, being outdoors, or just going for a walk. Keep moving. Your body and your mind will thank you. And finally, number 5, get used to saying these 3 words. I need help. Those 3 words can get you through just about anything. And here's the truth. Saying them doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong, because it takes courage to be honest. It takes strength to be vulnerable. And it takes maturity to recognize that you don't have to do everything on your own. So don't be afraid to use those words again and again if you need to. So as I close, thank you again to the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association and Coach Ken Barrett for this incredible opportunity. To the players, congratulations. You've earned this. To the families, coaches, and supporters, thank you for everything you poured into these young people. Enjoy this moment, celebrate it, remember it. Because being All-State is something no one can ever take away from you. Keep working, keep growing, keep showing up, and most importantly, keep finding ways to survive and thrive. Congratulations to all of you. Have a great day. And that was the keynote speech that I had given at the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association All-State Banquet, and it was very well received, and I'm glad and I was honored to be there. Anyway, I wanted to read that speech that I had prepared for the All-State Banquet, and to my knowledge, the WBCA didn't record it. Before I share my conversation with the Wisconsin Heights High School students, I need to talk about our sponsor one more time. Buck and Honey's has been with the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew since the beginning, with 4 locations in the Madison area. One is always near. People ask, why Buck and Honey's? Owner Tom Anderson places a high priority on the mental health of his employees. He has a mental health professional available for them should they need support. I don't know how many businesses go above and beyond their EAP, Employee Assistance Program, but Buck and Honey's does. I wanted to share 2 inspirational keynote presentations that I've had in the last month. It was an honor to present at the WBCA. I was honored to speak to Wisconsin Heights High School on the week of their prom. You'll hear after a short message how that went. Please stay tuned. Don't change that channel. You're not going to want to miss segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. We will be back.
If you, a loved one, or someone you know is experiencing a physical, mental, or emotional crisis, there is help and resources out there. Contact NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, at 1-800-950-6264. This is a free service providing information, resource referrals, and support to people living with a mental illness, their family, providers, and the public. United Way 211 is available 24/7, 365 and offers free confidential assistance. They connect people with the local programs and services that can help. Dial 211. Emergency Crisis Services, dial 911. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, dial 988. To connect via web, chat, visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Along with those numbers, there is help. You just need to say 3 words. I need help. Now, back to the show.
We are back. Welcome to segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Tim Decorah. We're in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. The podcast is where I normally feature guests who share their story in hopes of helping others who may be struggling with what life throws at them. Today, I'm in the Buck and Honey's remote studios to talk about 2 keynote presentations that I had the opportunity to deliver in the last month. Both events gave me a chance to share what is near and dear to my heart, and that is making the right choices and taking care of yourself. Segment 2, Superintendent Dr. Michelle McGrath, who is a good friend of mine, is doing great things at Wisconsin Heights High School. And again, Wisconsin Heights High School is located between the two small communities of Black Earth and Mazomanie, Wisconsin. And she's trying to make her mark on the culture there. Wisconsin Heights High School is a school with an enrollment of 219 students. Principal Liz Rohde, Activities Director Alex Hammerschmidt, and Coach Katie Dasher lead the SALT group, SALT, and that's Student Athlete Leadership Training, in trying to improve their school climate. I opened the school day at Wisconsin Heights High School with a 40-minute presentation focused on making the right choices or decisions and giving students some coping strategies when it came to their prom. I spoke on Tuesday, April 21st, and Heights was to hold their prom 3 nights later. Principal Liz Rohde wanted me to share a message on making smart decisions on prom night. The meat and potatoes of the presentation started with a question I posed to the students. And the question was, what is one day that you could go back and have a redo? I asked the students to think about that, and I stayed quiet for about 15 or 20 seconds for them to just think about that. I shared that one day that I wish I could go back to, and that was my sophomore year in high school, and I thought it was an appropriate story to share with the kids because I had a similar experience that some of them were maybe going to experience at prom, or maybe not just prom, but after a football game, after a basketball game, on a Friday or Saturday night when kids get bored, kids do things. And sometimes some of those things they do involve substances, predominantly alcohol, but it could be other substances. The story I shared goes a little bit like this. Sophomore year, I'm 15 years old. I don't have my license yet. And it's New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1900 and something. And we're going to go to the local dance club, the 19 and under club in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, actually Lake Delton, and decided to meet up with some friends of mine. And that night, there were a couple of cars we had a designated meeting area. It was at somebody's house. I don't remember. But I made a decision that night, and it was a quick decision. I could get in one car or I could get in another car. And one of the cars, well, I thought both were going to the dance. One car took off and they drove to the dance. The other car, which I was in, ended up driving out to a known party house. And as we're driving out there, I noticed that we didn't make the turn to go to the dance club. We ended up leaving and going just outside of town, and we pulled into what I kind of knew then, and then I know now, was this particular party house known for hosting high school parties. And we pull in just outside this party house, turn off the engine. A friend of mine's driving, and we get out of the car, and I don't remember who it was. Somebody asked me, "You coming in?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I got out of the vehicle, not wanting to stay in the car, but I decided to follow. And the 3 or 4 friends that I was with ended up going in. And I stopped and paused for a brief moment on the front step of this party house, and a thought went through my head. And I could hear loud music. I could hear people talking. I could even smell cigarette smoke in the air because cigarette smoking was big back then, and just a festive atmosphere. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know for sure, but I kind of have a very good feeling of what is going on inside this party house. And I happened to be with a couple of the friends that I was with were known to be partiers. They had been talking about it for the last 3 or 4 months of sophomore year, that they were going to the dance club, but before they would go to the dance club, they would go to this house that we were at and have a couple of beers. And so I knew that they were partiers. And I stopped and I thought to myself, if I go in, I don't know what's going to happen, but I certainly can't leave and walk home. That wasn't even it was a thought that entered my mind, but it was we were just a little too far out of town. And I took a deep breath, and I opened the door, and I stepped across the threshold and into this house. And I looked around, and sure enough, there were people that were drinking alcohol, cans of beer in their hand. A couple of people were smoking cigarettes. And I don't remember who it was. I know it was an older student, probably a junior or a senior, and he came over and said, "Hey, do you want a couple of beers?" And he had 2 cans of beer, and he handed them to me. And I looked at him, and I looked around and did what kind of sort of came natural to me, because alcohol was a huge part of my life. At that point, for me, it wasn't drinking. It was growing up in an alcoholic home. And I opened the can of beer, and I drank it. And instantly, I was hit with this rush of certainly the bitter taste of alcohol, but I was hit with this rush of this feeling that made me feel different. And I think about that day almost 40 years later, over 40 years later, and think of what if I would have had some tools, some strategies to just say no, to analyze the situation and maybe just stay in the car, or just say, no, I'm okay. I'm just going to hang out and be with some friends. But I chose to drink in that moment. And I think about that day, and if I could have a redo and see what would have happened if I had gotten in that other car and the other car drove to the dance instead of going to the house, I wonder how my life would have turned out. If it would have been different, or if I would have got stronger, or maybe I would have gotten some coping skills in that next week in a health class, something that would have helped me out if I would have stayed sober or had long-term sobriety. But I chose to drink on that night, and it changed the course of my life, essentially. So that was one of the things that I shared with the students. And so my message for the day was, and here's what I shared, and it's based on this acronym called OODA, O-O-D-A, OODA. And I actually had the kids chanting, OODA, 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 OODA. And I give those Wisconsin Heights kids a lot of credit, because they joined in like they've done that 1,000 times. So it was really cool. I had 219 students and some faculty members and some administration, and they were all clapping along. So you guys were awesome, Wisconsin Heights students and staff. But OODA was designed by an Air Force colonel, and I don't remember when, but it's basically a 4-step decision-making framework. And it helps you make the correct or the smart choices or decisions. And I wish I would have had something like this when I was a sophomore on that New Year's Eve night back in the 1900s. And it goes a little bit like this. The first O in OODA is observe. Notice the environment. What do you see? What do you feel? So I was standing on the porch or the front step of this party house, and I should have started asking some questions. Is someone drinking? And I had that vibe. And I told the kids that they might have an experience with that coming up at prom. Is someone drinking? They look around, they observe, they can hear it. Does the driver seem impaired? Maybe they rode with somebody, and during the course of prom, maybe they snuck out to their car and had something to drink. So is the driver impaired? Is there pressure building? You feel something maybe in your gut or in your head that you sense something is wrong. Are people acting differently? People act differently after they have a beer or two or some kind of substance. I know I acted and felt differently after having that can of beer that night, that first beer I had. And does something feel off? And if it's something in your gut that you're feeling, guess what? You're probably right. So that first O in OODA is observe. The second O of OODA is orient yourself. Analyze and process what is going on. Connect the moment to some values. And when I'm standing on that front porch of that party house, the values I should have held near and dear to my heart is that I'm an athlete, and I don't want to drink, and I don't want to smoke, and I don't want to miss. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to miss a game because of all the things that go along with that. But I didn't have that skill set. I didn't have orient myself. I didn't have OODA. And then start asking yourself, and I should have asked myself, who am I? I'm an athlete. And I pose that question to the Wisconsin Heights students. Who are you? Are you a person that does things the right way, makes right decisions, is an athlete, doesn't want to get in trouble, wants to stay clean and fit and healthy? What kind of decision maker do I want to be? Do I want to be a person who makes poor decisions on a regular basis, or do I want to be a person who makes smart decisions, smart choices? And then what matters most tonight? And for me, my sophomore year, what mattered most that night should have been going to the dance and having fun. And instead it ended up with me getting in a car that I shouldn't have got in, and I should have gotten in the other car, and that other car went to the dance. So we've got observe and orient. The D in OODA is decide. Have a plan. And by me speaking to the Wisconsin Heights kids that morning, I was giving them a plan to make these smart choices and smart decisions. So decide, make a choice, not based on peer pressure, not based upon what somebody else says or you want to be like somebody, but not based on FOMO, not fear of missing out, but decide based on what is right. Sometimes the best decisions sound like this. I'm not getting in that car. Or for me, I should have said on the front step of that party house, I'm not going in there. I'm going to wait outside. I'm going to wait in the car, or I'm going to walk back into town. I'm leaving, or those two are kind of, you're taking care of yourself. But now the third one here you have an opportunity to not only take care of yourself, but you also can take care of somebody else that might be in the same boat, sort of that I was in, that I needed somebody to make a decision for me. Let's go do something else. And you end up taking one or two other people with you, and you're helping them make the right decision. And the A in OODA, OODA, the A is act. Execute your plan. That's the fourth step. And sometimes that executing that plan takes courage. This is where courage shows up. Action means doing something. Speak up. Call a parent. Get a safe ride. Walk away. Call a trusted adult. Help a friend make a better choice. And those are things that can help you in times of trouble. Just ask those, take a moment, take a deep breath, and make a choice, and then act. And sometimes it may not be the best decision right now, but the next day or the next week or the next month, it might be the best decision of your life. So you can use OODA, and it doesn't have to be just for prom. It could be for making a choice when you're in college. It could be making a choice or a decision about your life when you enter your 30s or 40s or whenever. But use OODA when you don't have a plan. It helps you. It's a 4-step decision-making framework that helps you make the correct decisions. What an episode. I'm so glad you could join the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew today, and I'm glad several people in my life asked me to share what I presented on, so I'm very honored to have shared that. I just shared information from 2 powerful conversations I had with adults and high school students in the last month. The info can also be applied in your lives to help make the smart choices and to take care of yourself. Here are some suggestions to survive and thrive. The first 5 were from the WBCA event, and I said, number 1, here were my suggestions to survive and thrive to the All-State kids that were at the All-State Banquet. Number 1, put your mask on first. Number 2, unplug. Number 3, find your person. Number 4, movement is medicine. And number 5, get used to saying these 3 words: I need help. And then I just got done talking about the Wisconsin Heights event. OODA, observe, orient, decide, and act. So final thoughts as I close another great episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I want to thank Coach Ken Barrett and the WBCA for an amazing honor. I I didn't take that lightly. It was a tremendous day and a tremendous opportunity for me to share what's important to me. And I want to thank Dr. Michelle McGrath and that SALT group, the Student Athlete Leadership Training. I want to thank Dr. Michelle McGrath, Principal Liz Rohde, Activities Director Alex Hammerschmidt, and Coach Katie Dasher, who helped organize this event and gave me some talking points. And I was so glad. And they do a great job with their Wisconsin Heights high school students because they were attentive and respectful. And it was just an amazing group. So on our next episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, we will have another amazing guest in the Buck and Honey's remote studios who will share how they learn to survive and thrive. If you have a story to share or you know someone who does, please reach out to me at tdecorah@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there with whatever you happen to be going through, and with hard work, dedication, and determination, you can survive and thrive. Until next time, take care.